Okay, was it me or did that one sound a little muffled this time around? That sounded weird.
That was fine. It's just you.
All right, it's these headsets I'm wearing, so unfortunately,
It sound fine to me,
HyperX,
man.
send me a better pair of headset because this one is busted. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Spectator Mode Podcast. This is episode 64. And before I introduce the host on the show, you know who we are already. I'm going to tell you right now, this podcast is going to be a little unorthodox because we have no idea what we're really talking about this week.
We're going to talk about how much you love Destiny 2 and how you want to come back to the fold.
Fuck Destiny 2.
I tried, boys. I tried.
I don't know about that.
I saw all those nerfs and changes, and I was like, yeah, I ain't never coming back to this game. They just made sure that I'm never coming back. So anyway.
At least you'll get to come back, and all of your guns will be invalidated for the next season.
Yeah, thanks.
Again.
Anyway, so we got Rob, Matt, and Carl, and of course I'm Keith Mitchell on today's episode of Spectator Mode Podcast. Also, if you heard the first time, fuck Destiny 2. Just to say another.
Just make sure
I got myself a present.
Like, Joey, I'm carrying this promotion behind me.
Oh my god, what is that? Is that wrestling? We don't talk about wrestling on this show. That's the other podcast.
Well, the good thing is you're not going to be able to
go over there. Not this one.
That's a beautiful looking belt, by the way.
Yeah, I bought myself a replica of the old WCW United States Championship.
How much that cost?
250 Australian, so probably about
120,
170 American.
That's not bad.
A little less than that. Anyway, so
I'm happy.
Cool. All right, so you know what? Who wants to introduce what we're talking about today? Because I'm doing.
I got this. Shit. We're gonna talk about the good times. We're gonna talk about.
We're not talking about good times.
I said the good times, not good times. None of us sitting in Chow line.
Nobody knows what that show is.
Well, do we want to start the usual?
You and I know because we're the people.
I guess those are the good times. What we're
There's a reason for that. We're not going to go into that. We are not going to go into that. No.
I was going to say talk about what we usually been doing. You know, games we've been playing. We're going to talk about what we've been doing. Like Keith's been streaming us losing our minds playing this game. But I'll kick it off with what I've been playing. I've been playing, Remnant of the Ashes with these two defined gentlemen over my screens.
I'm sorry, I do not identify as a gentleman. I am an Apache helicopter.
What? Have I misgendered you already? Jesus Christ. No, I kid. I don't mean those. It was a joke. Playing Remnant of the Ashes. I played some Streets of Rage 4. My brother and I today has finished all the challenges in Borderlands 3. The Cartel add-on, I think, ends sometime next week. And the best about the Cartel is some of the guns, blah, blah, the challenge. The music is so good. I love that music. That 80s style synthwave vapor stuff. I love it.
Ooh.
So basically what you said is you're waiting for Cyberpunk 2077.
I've been ready for it my whole life. But seriously, I played that, and I recently just finished playing the Final Fantasy 14 a demo with my brother. So it's for PS4. It's still, it's an MMO, but that's what I've been doing. Just that, and just having some good times. I'm not touching any fighting games for a while. I'm not interested in Ultra Instinct or Ultra Blurring. Just can't play that. That character is ridiculous. Yeah. So, Rob, what you been up to, my good friend?
What have I been up to? I've only been playing Persona. I will continue to sing praise for that game because I like it a lot.
Is Ryuji a good boy now?
I'm surprised you're still playing it. I mean,
it's a good game.
Homie. Of course, he's my boy.
Obviously, he's a good game, but I know you want to keep going.
Ryuji's such a homie. He's so not unlikable. Like there's nothing about him that you just can't like. He's too fucking idiotic a lot of times, but he's just like such a
he's your homeboy.
A good heart. He's always got your back, whether he's always got the food.
Like how you feel about Akechi? Have you met him yet?
I have met him. I'm up to like halfway through. I mean, spoilers, whatever. I'm at Sai-san's palace. So
okay, so you You hate him, don't you?
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
He's always the sad part.
But that's like the
remake.
point, though, and I get that. Like, he's supposed to be your rival. He's like the Pokemon rival trainer or whatever that you got to beat. Like, I get it. You know, we've already had like that. There's a part in his confidant route where you have to fight him, which is really cool. And that was really cool because I was just like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass, dude. I can't wait. Ugh.
You know the upsetting part about it is that they try to make him more likable in this game, but he's still a horrible character.
They do try, and I mean, like, I see it, and like I get it. You know, like he's still like at the end of the day, like there's a little bit about him that you like. He's very much like the main character in some ways, but it's just like it's just, the guy's like your rival still.
Yeah, he's a total deal. Oh wait, can you spoil what girl did you decide to max that confidant with?
Well, here's the thing, because I do have an opinion on that. I think that Royal specifically sets out one character for you to try and max out in romance. And I mean, it's very clearly the new character, Cosme. Right. Like, it sets her up as like you should be going for her. She is prevalent throughout the main story
with Maria. They did the same thing in Golden with Marie. So I get you.
It's very much just like. They took the base game, but they like spread her out in so many different spots. And like, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think she's a great character, and I like her a lot. And like, for me, it's either between her and Makoto, which is like it's between Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. It's just like those are like the key characters that everyone likes. So it's like at the same time, I'm kind of like, maybe I should I go with someone else? But like, those are like my two right now that I'm like the most.
Believe it or not, I was torn between that. The Makoto, the new girl. My brother is different. He actually likes Haru, and then the teacher. So, yeah, he likes Haru.
I could see that, but there is stuff to like about her. But I just feel like that she just kind of like shows up for her dad's palace, and then she's just kind of like, the rest.
She comes very late in the original. She comes very late in the game where you can't kind of build around her. Yeah. This one you have more time, so it's kind of a little better. But yeah, I'm glad you chose. He's one of the best girls. So everyone clap. He has good taste. He has good taste.
Yes, I guess so. But yeah, I'm like, here's the thing with JRPGs that take a long time with them, because I enjoy being in the worlds that they are. So like, I take a long time with them. I'm at like 105 hours. I think that's what my save file says. It's probably not accurate. I'm probably more like 95 hours because I probably stepped away.
Plus or minus loaded screens,
But it's still like that's a long time. And for a game to keep me that long and still have a good time with it, I mean, it gets to the point where you see faults and like you understand that it's not a perfect game. And I never thought it was a perfect game, but like it's still like it is a. Good to praise something that keeps your attention for that long, because it's hard to do for a video game.
Definitely. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now you can finally be a snob, an RPG snob. Like, please, I don't play anything about Atlas RPGs. Everything is trash. Get it out of my face.
Jesus. Well, I mean, the thing was for me is that I was always like, it's very anime, and I'm not a big anime fan, so I step away from that stuff usually. But I mean, having the opportunity to play this game, I'm more open to it. That's not to say I'd probably play another Persona.
No, you're probably not going to do what one of our cohorts will does, like play every trash waifu simulator there is.
I'll think about it, but probably not.
But I would recommend you. Since you have chosen one of the best girls, I would recommend you this good stuff.
And last thing I'll say about it is that Persona 5 in general just kind of feels like it's one of those games where it's like it's very special outside of the rest of the series, because there's a reason why it's so successful. Like, so many people play it. People who have never played a Persona game before are jumping in for Persona 5. So it's like it's just one of those games that's very special in its own right and doesn't have to necessarily deal with any of its past games or future games for that.
All the Persona games are kind of that way. Like, believe it or not, like Persona 1 and 2 are canon to each other, and then throughout the series there's little bits and pieces of them interacting with the rest of the universe, and that's about it. Like, in 5, you'll see some cameos to 4 a bit, but not as much really. Like, you'll see Rise on the TV screen because that's sort of older, but it's all Persona games are kind of one-off-ish, except for 1 and 2.
Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't really been playing much else.
Fair enough. All right, Carl, let us know you've been playing Stampede Stadium Match. Stampede, the greatest game of all time.
Oh god, more wrestling references. No, I've mostly been playing Remnant from the Ashes with you boys most of this week. That's been my main run. other than that, the usual, do my bits and pieces on Animal Crossing because I'm slow as all hell on that game. I still haven't even cleared the main story part yet. Just because I've been taking my time doing everything as slow as possible. More Saints Row because that came out in the remaster not long after I finished playing it on the Switch. Yeah.
This is Saints Row Quattro, right?
Tres.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Saints Row the Third recently got the remastered edition put out. Luckily, we have been able to acquire a PC code, so I can give that a run. So far, it's same game. Graphics are really well done. That you can really tell a big difference between the early versions that you've seen on the PS3, Switch, and everything else, and this. The graphics have actually been new lighting system. Everything else looks brilliant. Otherwise, it is the same game. The only thing I will say is for Switch owners, because I've been looking at comparison videos as well. If you've picked up the complete collection versus the remaster, you might as well stick with the complete collection because it's practically the exact same thing. You're not going to tell that much difference on the Switch. Yeah. But I do plan on getting some stuff done this week because Mortal Kombat DLC. Mortal Kombat DLC comes out this week.
Oh,
so
Aftermath.
Basically, you'll just be playing Mortal Kombat. You're not going to get anything done. You just be playing more games.
I'm going to get shit done. I got articles to write and lists to make and opinion articles to piss people off with.
You got companies.
Perfect time to plug your Miss Me With That bullshit.
Yes, the Miss Me With That Bullshit series that I like to do to make nice and controversial opinions, such as Resident Evil 4 is not a real Resident Evil game.
Oh,
or at least things like Code Veronica and even Dino Crisis deserve more love than that piece of trash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have the slight continuation of Toys on a Tuesday that Keith and I are trying to do on a regular basis but keep failing at, where I looked at the 1989 Batman toys by Toy Biz, and there weren't many in that. But I plan on a follow-up article where Kenner Toys actually took over the license not long after and actually produced a lot of toys for that series.
Funny story, I actually stopped by Walmart today and I was picking up some stuff for the house, and I saw that they have out the Transformers for the Netflix Transformers come out next month, or actually in July. And then I also saw the what was it? War for Cybertron Earthrise Transformers, some of them, and the Megatron is the same damn one, just a different color. And I'm
they get lazy, are they?
I was like, come on, guys, this is the same damn guy. Why did you do this? But I will say, Hound and Mirage and was it Sideswipe looked very nice. I almost picked them up, and then I saw they're like $25 a piece. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
They didn't have Prime. I was looking for Prime so hard. No Prime.
That's the one thing about toys these days is that they cost so much more than when they did when we were kids.
Yeah.
And it's you look at them and it's I could afford that, but I could also do something better with my money.
Exactly. It's I could have bought these guys, but I kind of needed this. I did pick up the Lego Ferrari. I mean, I have to keep going Legos.
Lego.
What kind of Ferrari?
So I don't know if you ever saw. I don't know if you ever saw my gaming.
No. Have you got the box nearby?
No, I do not.
I was just kidding.
It's part of the Speed Champion set. If you've ever seen my console gaming setup, under the TV on top of the soundboard, I have a bunch of those cars from Lego, the Speed Champions, and they keep bringing out new cars. So this one is the Speed Champions Lego F8 Turboro. I never saw this one, so it's new. Yeah, it's new, so that was cool. Sorry to steal your thunder there, Carl. Keep going.
No, it's all good. Believe me, every time I go into a toy shop or somewhere where they have Lego, I keep seeing that goddamn that Batmobile, and it keeps teasing me. It's buy me. I'm
Give me the money.
You're too expensive. Go on sale first.
Yeah.
So, not to cut to Keith.
Keith,
So you're
Keith.
telling me that they're selling the toys to the new Netflix series ahead of time? Is that crazy?
Yeah, it is. They haven't been talking about the series. We did say the show was
which has me worried actually.
No, I from what I was told by Netflix, like asking them, hey, can we screen this? That it is very faithful for fans of G1 Transformers.
Oh, so it's going around that route. Okay.
So, but they won't say anything else.
All right.
That's it. Okay.
Well, as long as the city gets destroyed every episode, I guess they succeeded.
And I guess Carl's done. So my gaming this week has been very short, because basically run that from the ashes with you guys, and I've been playing a lot of Bot VR, because I haven't used my VR for exercise in quite some time because I kind of fucked up my shoulder, and it's still messed up, but I'm gonna keep pushing through it because who needs shoulders, right?
Yeah, who needs it? Just blow out like this and hit buttons, and then everything works out.
Yeah, that and just random bits and pieces. Again, for some reason I think I'm burnt out on gaming right now. I don't know why. Maybe because the games that I really want to play haven't been released yet. And then maybe I just need a break. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, it's a fair time to do it. There's not much going on. Not much new stuff anyway.
I mean, you can always clean up your backlog. That's what I've been doing.
Well, see, I've been doing that slowly but surely, and there's not really. See, I'm not the Keith Mitchell I was when I was younger. I have resisted the temptation of buying every game during Steam sales. The last couple of Steam sales, I have purchased nothing.
No, that's because the last couple of Steam sales, at least
Have
the
been
last
shit.
3-4 years,
Yeah, they've been not great.
Trash.
Exactly.
Even when I got my first PC, that was in like 2013, 2014. And like the sales back then were pretty good because I was picking up all my backlog, moving over from console,
it's also
and there were
because
good deals.
Oh yeah, I want to say because back in the day, those Steam was very predatory in their sales and discount market, so they caused you to buy at the time. Like now they have their sales locked in price and locked in a certain amount. So of course they're not as good as the old days, but they cannot do those tricks anymore because that's predatory sales techniques.
Who cares? Epic Game doesn't care.
Well, that's because they're scumbags who don't deserve any money. But
Speaking of
that's
Epic Games, you know what? Speaking of Epic Games, if you not picked up your copy of Civilization 6 for free, do it now because it's free.
Don't. It's not worth it.
Get it. No, get the damn game.
You know
Free games. God damn it! Free games are always free games.
All right, here's the problem. Free games from a company that's gonna you're not gonna get it. You go do that stupid stuff. I'm gonna sit here and just laugh at you guys because are you still free games and you don't give them any money? By the way, it's whatever. It's but anyway,
it's just they want to take over them. They think they're giving out illusion by not taking their free games.
I don't know. There's someone who lives in reality. That's what God does. When you say, "Hey God, no, lightning."
God doesn't live in reality. He lives in mythology. You should know that by now.
I was going to say the same thing. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Nope.
But all serious. It's like Epic Games Store has aggressive sales. Like, and you see, I was working out for them, not well, because the consumer is a little more allegedly more smarter than the average donut ball. So come on.
Here's the thing you're missing. Here's the thing you're missing completely. It has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with perception. If you're a gamer, and this podcast for, and the game is for free with no strings attached, you're an idiot for not picking it up.
And I think you can rest assured that God will not forsake you if you don't pick up this game.
Let's pick up Grand Theft Auto. Like, how old is that? Jesus Christ, you got it.
And it has sold 130 million copies.
Yeah, so everyone has got a copy at some point.
Also, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's the premium version.
Oh,
can we talk about how GTA Online is literally an MMO now?
It's
literally an MMO. Oh, yeah. You pick up that game, brand new.
I guess that's our first topic. Again, we did say unorthodox. We didn't know what we were talking about today.
Let's jump into it. No, I was only going to say because I personally have put in over 200 hours in that game. Most of it's into online because the online is literally an MMO because you start off as just like some guy who ends up on the shores of San Andreas and you know, you have to like literally start from the bottom as a criminal, and you work your way up into like you buy your own house, and then you work your way up and you buy your own office, and you start your own business, and then from there you can venture out into other businesses, and then from there you can buy your own nightclub, you can buy your own yacht, you can buy your like it's crazy. It's got like this weird like amalgamation.
I know it's
MMO progression in real life American capitalism. It's so strange, but it's a lot of fun, and like I love it. Like being able to just like buy a jet on a whim and just terrorize people, but at the same time, like get like my personal business done. It's so crazy.
But you've got to also watch out for all the other people that are like griefing the crap out of the game and everything.
Yes, those guys are gone.
But I think a lot of people live for that though. That's a big part of that game, or that mode.
Well, it could be fun too, because like you can pick out people's like shipments and stuff, and like cause havoc for them. Especially if they have like a whole group of people protecting it. That's like the rare stuff. That's a lot of fun because people will be like they'll pick up their whole CEO group of 6 people, just like trailing this whole shipment together. This is back in like when the Office stuff first came out, so people were serious about protecting their cargo, and so like you'd have to like bring a force with you or have some serious firepower, and it's just a lot of fun. Like people would like vigorously defend their stuff, and it was so cool. I mean, like nowadays though, people either don't care or it's usually just one person trying to move something, and you just like blow them up, and then it's like, all right, now I can fly away in my jet that was $2 million, and that's it.
Or you can always do what me and my friends did. You get a jet, or you just drive a car real fast, just kamikaze into them. Who cares?
Yeah, because
if you're really about if you're about griefing, it's not about winning. That's all I gotta say. It's never about
the funniest thing. I actually saw this on one of the Kotaku's little glitch mistake compilations they put out every week. There was actually a group of people in Grand Theft Auto Online. They actually dressed up like the Scooby-Doo characters.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Fred Velma and all that, and they went around there griefing people in Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm like,
did somebody
awesome.
say Did somebody say
awesome.
something about those pesky kids or something like that?
Yeah. Those meddling
It
kids.
was literally so fun. The clip is just this dude standing outside of his office, just like looking at his phone, like getting ready to do whatever he's gonna do. Literally, like this van comes up that looks very much like a mystery van comes up. All the characters that jump out of this van are all dressed like the whole show. They run over and just rush him, and they just beat him up.
Do you have a link to that? So I would very much like to see that.
Give me a moment. I'll pull it up for you. Man.
It was so funny, man. Oh my god!
People do get creative with these type of things, which is what I love about it.
Oh, that reminds me too. I literally like on a whim the other day was just on Twitch, and I was like, I wonder how Red Dead's doing. I've never seen like anybody stream Red Dead before. So I go on the Twitch, I go to browse, and I find it like a couple ways down. And I was like, it's surprisingly high. Well, not surprisingly, because I eventually realized what it was.
What's that?
They finally brought out roleplay servers for Red Dead.
Oh, you mentioned that a couple days ago.
Yeah. So they finally started bringing those over, and they're like still kind of rudimentary. So they're not as big as like GTA 5 roleplay, but they still have like some pretty significant stuff. So I was watching this dude, Kyle, I think is his Twitch name. Is literally just Kyle. And he was doing Red Dead 2 roleplay, and it was just like really cool. It was like he just ran into all these like really kooky characters, like really interesting people, like role playing. It's just like this Western town. Like he's playing like this like rogue, like a brutish renegade type of guy. That's like his role play character. So he like walks around, he like gets drunk all the time, gets into like random antics the whole way through, and it's super funny. Like just like a lot of the characters he interacts with, he's like his like character in the game is best friends with this dude Norman, who's like this misunderstood like photographer. It's like everybody thinks is like this creepy weird murderer guy, and he's just like he hangs out with him. He's just a normal dude who takes pictures, but everybody's in like the game, the characters are scared of him, and it's just it's just so funny. Like all the antics he'd get into, he scared some boy who was too young to drink, and he like got drunk at a bar. It's just like there's all these like crazy stories of him like getting in trouble with the town, and it was super funny. And it was just like on a whim the other day, and I just like watched for hours because it was so it's just so interesting and weird. And it's crazy, like the whole like roleplay scene. It gets like out of control, like how like cool these worlds are, and people just like get fully into it, fully in character. Like
when they had those, they still had them in Warcraft. I ignored the hell out of those.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was like, I could not be bothered by them. And the one time I rolled on a role playing server, I was like, what the fuck is going on here, and why am I here?
Well, I feel like that's like tougher to get into because it's very high fantasy. I feel like that can be a little more niche, even though role playing is very much niche anyway. But like the stuff with like GTA, and I think why it and Red Dead's role play is so big is it's just like it emulates real life in a lot of ways, and it's very, very closer to actual existence of humans, and so like a lot of people just find it like the ridiculousness of it
it's
relatable.
Like, I've watched a few GTA Online sort of roleplay streams, and like thank God for PC and mods, because some of the things that come out of that community, like getting actual jobs or something, like you go and you become a police officer in the game, and you can get this overlay that gives you like the proper like police brand frequency. You get to report back to an office and everything else. And there's all these scripts that it runs in order to emulate what it's like actually being a cop. And I saw that stuff, and I'm like, that's interesting. That's actually what, like, I'm glad I now picked it up thanks to Epic Games Store putting it up for free.
Yeah.
Say that again for the people in the back. Yeah. I don't think they heard you loud enough. Say it again.
I'm going to turn off my headset so you
for free.
Say it really loud so God can hear you, because apparently it was it was him who allowed you to do so. But I think the whole role-playing thing is so interesting to me, and apparently this is our role-playing segment. But like looking back on like it all stems from like San Andreas mods on PC way back in the day, where people would make the Cops and Robbers mod, and like people would actually like simulate that, and it like progressively got bigger from that. It's just really interesting. Like I like looked up the history of it kind of, and I was like, oh, this is super cool. Like just like people getting full on in character, living in this completely different world based on a game that already has a world like that in Red Dead Online, where you can become a hunter or a trader, or already has some of those elements, and they just take it full on, way beyond Rockstar would ever consider doing. So it's like it's insanely cool, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, but that's been the whole thing though, is that they've been able to come out and go, you know, here's a whole heap of mods and stuff to actually get everything up and running. Like, it's just the creativity of people. Like, again, you know, Grand Theft Auto Online, I saw people who actually literally just stood at the casino and was a valet. It's like, even the most mundane stuff, people will go, why? Because they can.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So
like, just like,
it's so weird.
The amount of like jobs that you can take in GTA role playing is like insane. Like even in Red Dead now, like where there's not a lot of like whole like custom animations and anything. There's just like stuff straight up ripped from the game for the most part. But even then, there are still people whose job is like, oh, I own this saloon, I own this bathhouse, and like they'll show up there every day. They'll sit behind the counter and serve drinks, or literally like own a bathhouse and give people baths. Like it's crazy, and like the antics that people get into because of that is just so cool, and it makes me want to do it. But,
all right, guys, that's actually getting to one of our topics. All right, Rob, this is actually something you suggested, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So even though we don't have an E3 2020 or Tokyo Game Show or anything else that we normally would see this year, we do have a couple of game events that have come to take the place of what we normally are traditionally seeing. We have one from IGN, we have one from GameSpot, we have one from Jeff Keighley. There's another one that got announced not too long ago for indie games, and pretty much we want to know what everybody thinks we're going to get out of these shows. Like a couple of predictions, game predictions, doesn't matter what it is.
I like how you've just gone, we're getting one from Jeff Keighley.
I mean, should I say it any other way?
I mean, no, you're right though. Even he said in his Q&A, he's just like, things are just happening and I'm letting them happen. And he's just like organizing with random people on a whim. And
in the back, he's like, we're going to take over this shit. And being all honest about it. I mean, And he's literally doing it.
The Game Awards 24/7.
I mean, honestly,
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I do have a problem. You know, I'd rather him do it than IGN or GameSpot doing his shit, because I'll be 100% honest. I don't like the fact that gaming outlets are going to get access to exclusive stuff for that outlet.
Yeah.
And keep
It's
the shit
real
for themselves.
weird. Yeah.
I do not like that. You are controlling the narrative. That is not cool.
Yeah. Very much an ethical and like moral issue when you look at it. Like even if like, you know, your favorite content creator from IGN decides to play this game and you love their coverage and everything, it's still really weird. It's very much like bias, conflict of interest. Like, you know, a lot of this stuff is not going to be their true opinions as little or as much as possible. Because like they could still feel that at the end of the day, like, oh, this is a game that I'm really excited for, and they play it and they still think, this is a game I'm really excited for. But at the end of the day, how well can you trust them?
Yeah, like Ray Shadow Legends.
Think about it, like, you know, it just it feels weird.
But going into the predictions, I'm gonna go first because I don't have many. I have 3. I predict that when we finally see the PlayStation 5, which will likely be June, which will be the middle of the Jeff Keighley event, and I think probably IGN's event, we will finally get the pricing for both the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And I would imagine the PlayStation is going to cost a little bit more than the Xbox.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Probably.
I think we're finally going to hear something about Bandai Namco's Elden Ring. And I do think that we will hear the announcement of more Sony first-party games coming to the PC.
Right, and that's all sounds like good news. I'm hoping to hear about Raid Shadow Legends. I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen. I'm just picturing all these news people getting access to the game. It's like that situation. But it back to Rob. I'm so upset by that because it's like don't you learn? We're all going to know it's a work. It's just a ruse. Like, come on, man. Would you at least like try to look less biased? Like at least hire some Johnny Donuts to play the game. Look, Johnny Donuts is playing the game. It looks good.
Yeah, it's a little weird because like they're
trying to deceive me.
And I'll try not to hark on this for too long, but yeah, it is a little weird that like their journalists are getting like, you know, like access to demos specifically for them for their show. And not to say it's all that, because there is some like the Guerrilla Collective where a lot of these outlets are partnering with somebody who's already planning on doing a reveal, so it's not necessarily like just strictly that. But anyway, I'm not going to hark on that too long because I have, you know, predictions as well. I mean, obviously next month we're going to hear about the PS5. We have to, because I feel like at this point we've been waiting way too long, and if they were not to bring out the PS5 at this point, like it just seems weird. So we're at least going to see it, you know, and we're very much going to see, like, I feel like they're going to come out like guns blazing. Here's the system. Here's what the system can do. And then they're going to go either straight into games or start with games. And it's just going to be strictly that. Because I feel like for PlayStation to wait this long and to just pull out like another thing like Road to PS5, where they just say like, here's the things that we can do with this system and then just end it. Like it's not going to happen. They have to come out huge because like everybody's been waiting.
When they do that. Like I'm picturing like they're gonna come out guns a blazing, and then Keith will have a mental breakdown because you know how much he hates the Sony people.
Somebody joked on Twitter a couple of days ago saying, "I wonder what we're going to see from PlayStation next," and I was like, "We're going to see the power cord. They're going to drag this shit out. Here's the power cord. Here's the HDMI cable. Here's the back of the console." It's like, just stop. Just show us the damn console.
I feel
for
like,
the love of God.
In my opinion, like prediction wise, I feel like they're going to come out big because they really don't have another option at this point. Like Xbox has just been so far ahead of them in terms of what you expect from a next gen release here, in terms of what info you should know at this point, like knowing literally what the system looks like. And so, you know, it makes me feel like they're waiting to pull out all the stops in one presentation right away.
It makes me feel like, not to cut you off, it makes me feel like that rumor that somebody said a while ago is that they had to redesign how it looks because they weren't happy with the cooling. It's making me feel like this actually happened. It really does.
Could have been. It could have been. There could have been major issues with the way it was set up, whether it's due to coronavirus or not. Like they could have had some kind of major delay that bumped them back. I mean, it's very possible. Like, consider how much information we know about the system compared to, like, the PS4. The PS4 was revealed in February of 2020. 2014. It was revealed in February. Like, consider how much we would have known now if it were like last generation. Like, we would already know
talking about it. They were talking nonstop.
We would have known everything about it by now, and we'd be like,
we
just
would have at the
released
least known
console
what it
already.
looked like. Like, you know, it's just crazy.
But that's the thing. Like, I'm right there with you with the whole reveal and everything. Like, I reckon they're gonna walk out, and it's gonna be literally something along the lines of, "Okay, you've been waiting a long time. We're going to make you wait a little bit longer while we show you this sizzle reel," and it's going to be like a whole heap of
shouldn't do that.
Nice looking tech demos, games that are coming to the system, probably more Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and stuff like that.
It'll be terrible.
And then when they come back, it's just going to be sitting right there, right in front of them, and it's going to be like, "And ladies and gentlemen, this is the PS5."
Well, you know what? I would like that. Like Boris. And then, here it is, by the way.
Well, it's not so much boring. It's just more like, okay, here's what it's going to be able to do. Here's the console. Oh, and by the way, here's the price.
Yeah, we need that.
And just drop bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb, and go, "Oh, we're not done yet. We've got something else sitting here for you." And then drop like a big exclusive reveal or something like, I don't know. Fucking random guess here. Maybe like, we're gonna show first footage of a new Batman Arkham game, or Marvel Spider-Man 2 or something like that. Something that's gonna move systems.
But getting back to Rob, what else were you saying there, Rob?
I pretty much agree with that, actually. I feel like it's very much like, because here's the thing with Sony, they can get away with doing a sizzle reel because they're very much on pomp and circumstance now, compared to Xbox, where everybody's yelling at them for not putting out gameplay. You know what I mean? And so they're like, everybody's more forgiving for Sony because they know that they're all about hitting big when they come and release something. So like, I feel like any kind of sizzle reel is exactly what's going to happen, and I feel like they would want to pair that in with the system reveal as well, because I feel like at this point it wouldn't just be like, here's a system, let's go over all the things about the system, and then next week we'll hear about the games. It's just like, no, they're gonna hit us all at once, and then they're gonna go back and be quiet again, because I feel like that's just what they're turning into now. They're turning into very like reactionary, or if they're gonna come out and say something big and decisive and a lot of information all at once, and that's like what they're kind of deal with. I feel like it for another prediction, like Xbox is going to be very much just like they've kind of segmented all of their shows. Even with like June, we're going to be having this platform and services event, which is very clearly just going to be like, here's the Xbox One, here's how you can use Xbox Live, and like just kind of go through the motions and all this stuff, like smart delivery and all the stuff that's going to come with the console. And then they're going to be like, all right, now wait till July where you can hear about all our exclusive games. And like, it's just like, were you excited for Halo? Probably should wait a little longer, but maybe we could show something. And it'll show like Master Chief like throwing up his thumb.
Kind of defeats the purpose. They really need. I mean, they really need to show their first party stuff sooner than later. But whatever.
Like, in fairness to them, they've been very good about being like, here's our stuff. We want to come out this generation on top. And they've very much been like, showing the console itself at the Game Awards last year, and then slowly over time, putting out little tidbits of videos, information, like all this stuff. They've been really good about trying to be first and try to be the ones that like, okay, if you're thinking about the next gen console, think about Xbox. And it's just like, for now, I mean, I think that's kind of, they've mostly been ahead. It's for PlayStation, it's just been a mystery. Like, we don't know really much about the PS5 like at all, other than like we know some games have been announced for it. Like it's just, they've very much been like, we're going to be first this generation, even though they have the price or anything like that, like the really
exactly.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, I'm really just kind of like excited mostly for Summer Game Fest. I feel like there's some really weird special stuff in the pipeline for that we don't know about. Just because, I mean, it's Jeff Keighley. He can swing his giant bat around, and people are like, "Oh, we respect you. We should do something with you." And it's like, there's going to be a big thing. Like, I'm excited for most of his presentations and stuff. I feel like the media outlets and all the stuff that's like partnering together, like that's mostly for like not AAA, but like smaller AAA, like Ubisoft. They have their own thing, but they're going to be partnering with everybody to put out a slightly different trailer for everybody else. Like, all the other conferences will be for like the smaller reveals and things like that. But I think in general, like PlayStation's going to try and come out big, and everybody else is kind of going their own way about it. That's like my general focus, I think.
Yeah, I definitely see the same thing. Or Sony could just pull out, the evil father, be like, you don't deserve a console. You're nothing. Just walk out the door, throw the PS5 at him. Like, is that the PS5? Just fight for scraps for it. But no, I see them doing. I do see Sony going big. I mean, they're very mysterious. You don't know what's going on, but we do know they're going to do something good because they have this thing called goodwill.
Goodwill exists.
Yeah, it does. Sense? Yeah, you're a Microsoft guy. You wouldn't know that.
What the fuck does that mean? I own
exactly.
two PlayStation 4s.
No, I'm joking, McKeith. I'm joking. It's just like goodwill, and they have it, so therefore they can play mystery shroud balls all they want. It's amazing. Like they could just come out and, like you said, come with the extension cord. This will be plugged into your TV, and that is how you play the PS5.
Oh man, they would be in such like deep water if they did that, though.
And they did that. They would. That would be the greatest gaming meme. I know they would pop it off.
People would love that, and we're going to talk about that at the last topic for the show. They'll love it. They will all love it
because I saw the power cord. I see the power. But I honestly, what I'm looking forward to is what the smaller devs will do, and I hope that they get some coverage. I'm really looking forward to. Well, God, I hate that game. Assassin's Taco Bell, Assassin's Creed. I'm looking forward to it. I can't. I don't trust those guys with like so many games.
I think it could be good. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. It could be, but I don't trust them. It's Ubisoft.
You know, I can't say that anymore because again, they gave us great games with Origin and Odyssey, so I can't say that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very.
I mean, a broken clock is right twice a day, so that was twice.
No, that's not fair. That's not unfair whatsoever. I mean, yes, they made some shitty games, but they also made some great games.
A lot of shitty games.
You can't hold on to that because that's the same thing. Capcom's made some shitty games.
Oh, that's what they're good at.
I mean, think about it this way: they released one shitty game, quote unquote shitty game, and they delayed their entire portfolio for the rest of the year. Like, think about it.
Exactly.
They're very much serious about putting out a good game. It's just sometimes they don't, and that's fine. Like, say what you want about Breakpoint, like it's just.
Oh, that was a thing.
It's just hurtful for them, and they have to push all their stuff back. Like, I'm still excited for Watch Dogs Legion. That game looks great.
Yeah, I wish they would talk more about it, but they've been very quiet about it. I mean, again, say what you want to say about them. Yes, they had put out some shitty games, but again, Division 2 wasn't doing very well. They came back out and they pushed the game right back on top. People will love it again. It just happens. Sometimes they put out a stinker. Sometimes they put out something good. It depends on if the company wants to pull a Breakpoint or an Anthem, or if they want to go pull what's the game I'm thinking about that escapes in mind? No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Well, that was different. No Man's Sky lied so hard they had to do work.
It doesn't matter. They came back and fixed it.
By lying. You gotta understand. If I keep lying and then eventually people believe me, I'll do the right thing. It's America. Come on, use your brain there, Keith. You just keep lying until the problem goes away.
Look, all I'm gonna say is Anthem's trying to do the same thing. There's like two
in
that game, so
Anthem is a goddamn crater of disappointment.
So sometimes things are hit or miss, and sometimes they'll come back. But
I don't see that game coming back.
All I'm gonna say is that I think there's promise in Ubisoft's lineup, as far as we can tell. And I don't know. I'm like I said before, I think they could be a good game.
I don't have faith in it because I don't see one title. Where's Prince of Persia? Where's my boy?
Did you see that they revealed recently, or somebody like found it recently, that it was leaked? There was like a tech demo for Prince of Persia.
Yeah, I saw that.
It looked really cool.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah. But it's like I said, it's Ubisoft. I'm not throwing them out, but I have like very little faith in them. So I'm like, if Valhalla's good, that's the best I can hope for.
Yeah,
if it's good.
Yeah. Last thing I do want to say in terms of predictions, because I remember I had said it like numerous podcasts ago, where I felt that because of all this stuff, like indie developers might struggle a bit more. Now that we have a bunch more presentations now, I don't feel that way as much, just because like I think there's a lot more opportunity for smaller studios to find their right presentation. You know what I mean? And prepare something for what normally would be E3. They have, they could reach out to Guerrilla Collective, or they could strictly go out to IGN or GameSpot or Games Radar or all of these other outlets that are now doing stuff like, regardless of whether it's ethically correct or not, like there's more platforms for indie developers and smaller development studios to show out their game to everybody.
And there's now also New Game Plus Expo.
Yeah.
Take place in June.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be interesting.
It's good for them, and that's kind of like the shining light out of all of these media outlets doing it, is that there's more platforms for these smaller games to put themselves out there. And so I think we'll see something interesting from a random indie dev, and there's going to be at least one. I feel like there's one every year, but it's going to be at least one indie game that just kind of blows up out of nowhere, and people are like, "This is super interesting and cool," and everybody's going to start playing it. So,
yeah.
Carl, you've been very quiet in this segment. Anything from you, bud?
Oh, look, man. To be honest, you guys are pretty much saying everything that I would have hit anyway.
Oh, cop out.
Yeah.
Cop out.
No. He's looking forward to the Sony of the PS5 power cord. Everyone is. This is going to be the greatest reveal.
The PS5 power cord and the surprise reveal of the HDMI cable is going to be amazing.
It's going to be a super special edition monster variant HDMI cable.
The free month.
I'm just picturing the full length of wire just has monster logos all over it.
Yes.
Or like
you can imagine
I feel so bad for the people that fell for that. It's like, buy this $80 cable, but it does the same thing as the $10 one. Why did you buy that?
Well, it looks cool.
I can see like the entire crowd, like the gaming journalists, like getting on their knees, going, "Base, thank you, base Sony. I am blessed with this monster power cord logo."
I don't know if I love or hate this dystopia you're.
To be honest, it's going to be interesting to see how it's all done and handled. Yeah, I'm not a fan of media outlets getting a hold of developers directly to run their own shows. I always think it should be a third party. Like the idea of Jeff Keighley running practically everything, great idea, because he is a neutral party. He's not IGN, he's not GameSpot, he's not anything like that. So the fact that we are having media outlets coming out going, "Hey, we're going to run our own, summer of gaming, and we're going to get all these exclusive bits and pieces from," that's wrong. That hurts more than just the industry, like they're in the media industry. What part of we're a part of, because we're now going to be behind everybody because we don't have that exclusivity.
Yeah.
But when third parties are involved, and hopefully that's where all the exclusive stuff's going to be with, then it puts everybody back on that even playing field. I'm happy that we're still getting something. Like this has been the biggest thing about this whole virus situation, is that news is getting slower. Their events are getting cancelled left, right, and center. We already had like New York Comic Con cancelled, San Diego Comic Con cancelled. And the fact that the Comic Cons are getting cancelled means that a lot of the movie TV news that we usually get throughout the year and stuff that we want to look forward to, all that's gone. And it's now becoming the same with gaming. We're watching gaming conventions getting cancelled left, right, and center. And at least they're deciding, hey, at least we can do it online like we always have.
Hopefully.
Sure, they're not making great choices when it comes to who they're partnering with, but at least we're getting something.
Yeah.
I'm excited for something right now, because at the moment, even the game releases are starting to dry up.
Yeah.
Because nobody's able to go and work on the games, so the game releases are starting to dry up. I'm now wondering whether the big push that we usually have come October, November, which is the big pre-Christmas sales season, are we even going to have anything? Or are we now looking at everything being pushed back to 2021?
If that, I mean, I've seen some events in 2021.
2022, yeah.
Yeah, some events 2021 are already being canceled.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's like on one hand, I'm thankful that we're getting something. On the other hand, it's like, could you have chosen some better people to work with, for the love of God?
And to jump on that real quick, and I will give props to Jeff Keighley. I said this for a while. At least he's trying to push this. I mean, there's nothing stopping another outside organization from doing the same thing he's doing. But so far, he seems to be the only one who wants to do it.
Good on him. Good on him for putting his hand up and wanting to do it. like you said, at least it's somebody.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't do it, then we would be stuck with literally the IGNs, the GameSpots, the probably GameStop and find some way to cash in on it or something.
Reggie would try it. Reggie would do it.
Reggie would do it. Poor Reggie, he betrays noble Nintendo to sell out.
But it is good. It is a good thing, though. It's definitely a good thing. And before anybody says anything when you hear or see this, say, "Oh, you're just complaining because you're a smaller site." It's not even about being a smaller site.
We're not.
It's just, again, it's the narrative. If it's just like if I was what am I gonna say? If I was running a company, and I sold toys, and I also happened to run a outlet that reviewed toys, isn't that kind of a conflict of interest?
Yeah. It's you don't want the sausage maker to own. You don't want the sausage maker to own the mall. That's what I describe it. You don't want the guy who makes the stuff own the mall because that'd be pretty biased.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like because theoretically, as a concept, it's like not terrible as long as your programming reflects what is, what the partnership is. Because in some of these presentations, they have like exclusive interviews with developers, which is like genuinely interesting because it's going to be like questions that aren't necessarily like, oh, when's your game coming out? Like, there's that opportunity there where somebody can ask them like genuinely, like if there's a question about, I don't know, like for instance, The Last of Us, even though it's coming out soon, like they ask like, oh, okay, well, what happened with development, due to the coronavirus? Like, they can ask like hard hitting questions like that. And like, my thing is like, they can have these partnerships as long as their programming reflects something of a journalistic attitude, at least in some way. A lot of this stuff is like they do have some of that, but it's also paired with here's the developer giving an exclusive demo for this IGN employee to play or for whatever reason.
It's like journalism plus marketing, which is not a.
Well, it kind of brings back the whole stigma of enthusiast press, even though that's always kind of been around, but it's like it's very much more clear now than it ever has been, where it just, there's always like this kind of stigma of, okay, well, then the company must have paid them to say that, and people will still think that, even if that is clearly not how some of this stuff works. Like people will still think that, especially now, because it'll just be like, they'll see the little IGN or the GameSpot logo in the corner and think, okay, well, are they really being truthful about how they feel here, or are they just trying to make it seem like this game's going to be cool, And
no, exactly. And like I'll cut you off. It's the problem. Like you all watch like YouTube, whatever, and we know the meme phrase Shadow Legends are treated like that. It's like the moment you see this video has been sponsored by, or you see that click as you put it, it's like I don't care. Just let me fast forward this. I know what this is about. Yeah. It's a huge distrust because it's like. I'm expecting an honesty of the product, and here you are stooging for it. You're just, It's
a good point. I'm curious to see if there's any kind of backlash or if somebody brings it up. Because, I mean, how much have we really heard about this?
We haven't heard anything as far as backlash, which is, I would expect it outlets or people on Reddit or Twitter to say something.
Well, that's the thing. Who's going to report on the backlash when the media is already controlling the narrative?
There you go.
It's more like public. It's more like public outrage, if you want to believe that. Like you can't silence public outrage. That's the way to describe it. Like, there's too many incidents.
But again, I think it's coming down to the point where we're all starved for information and for something new. That it's like, okay, we don't care that it's coming from, IGN, who's now working with XYZs. It's one of those things of where we just want the content. We now don't care who's providing it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair. I just want to see what the conversation's going to be afterwards, because like I don't know how many people are going to complain about this, or at least bring it up as a topic of conversation. Like it's probably, we will. We have been. But I'm just curious, like how big this kind of conversation is going to be, because somebody's going to bring it up if it's not us, And
I think a lot of the other independent guys would probably do it too, like us. We could probably see like Jim Sterling maybe talking about this immediately because
please don't have him. Oh God, I can already.
Angry Joe will jump on it.
Angry Joe, there's tons of independent guys who could probably talk about this in a bigger detail, whatever. But I definitely see this as in a sense, like, from my opinion, you guys know I'm an indie guy. As an indie guy, this is great. I finally have a proper avenue. All I have to do is, get on this merit need. IGN, bless me with your internets, and my life will go great. But it's a very weird situation. Like I want my indie publishers to get the recognition, fame, some way to get noticed. At the same time, you're buttering up them to get. It feels weird. Like the product should speak for itself. I shouldn't have to play politics.
That's why I like the fact that Nintendo is just like the way Nintendo does things. Is that like we're not going to partner up with anybody. We are going to, if we feel like it, we're going to run a direct.
Yeah,
during that time frame. But
Sony and Microsoft.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Sony and Microsoft don't need to partner with these companies in order to present their product, which makes me wonder why they're partnering up with these companies in order to present their product.
Well, now it's because of their consoles.
Unless they're turning around and going, okay, IGN is providing the cameras, the bandwidth, the everything else to do our presentation. But the Microsoft could do that themselves. They could do it on Mixer. Oh wait.
To be fair, don't bring that up. To be fair, Microsoft has streamed on every platform. Stop that, guys. You guys are feeding into exactly my last topic.
Right? I have played Final Fantasy. Laugh? Yeah, just Titus laughing.
I will bring up. I made a comment like a couple of podcasts ago that I watched the Inside Xbox presentation on their Twitch channel, so they're going to be everywhere.
Oh, I know that.
It is we had to stab that wound. You got to.
There was that low hanging fruit. I had to go for the hit.
No, but I definitely agree with that. It's like it's pretty like. Nintendo. I mean, yes, the other companies, but Nintendo's really keeping to themselves. While like it's a very dicey.
And that actually has me interested too. Like we're going on about we got the Xbox Series X coming out, we got the PlayStation 5 coming up, and they're both hopefully going to do their big reveals and everything else. What is Nintendo going to do?
Nothing.
Get Reggie back. Get my man Reggie back.
Not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything. They've already announced what they're doing. It's nothing right now.
I know, but they should really get Reggie back. You can't let Reggie go out there on GameStop. He's embarrassing himself. He's embarrassing you guys.
What's weird to me is that I think what they're planning on doing, and this was just a rumor, so I don't know, but it does make sense, is that they might just eschew the idea of a direct entirely and just stick with game reveals on their YouTube channel, because they did that with Paper Mario, the recent Paper Mario reveal. And so there was a rumor that was going around that was saying that they might just do that with the rest of their lineup for this summer. Like rather than just preparing an entire direct that takes a lot of time and production effort, they might just.
That's a bit sad though. It's like this is the time where you pull out that production, that flair, that pizzazz, and everything else.
But you gotta think about it. They may not have the resources because most people are in the studio doing
it's
this.
Nintendo.
It has nothing to do with it though. They might be very serious about. We don't want anybody coming into contact with anybody else. A lot of other people are in Japan.
Yeah,
a lot of their content creation is in Japan.
But also the fact that, like, just to go sort of facts and figures, Japan is actually one of the countries that is one of the lower in these times, because they already had most of the measures in place normally, so it hasn't really affected their daily lives as much.
You mean
so you're telling me I can get
ignore their pandemic outline and
no, Japan's already shot the bleach and all that stuff, but no. They already practice social distancing in Japan. They already, with the exception of like their trains, which are still packed like peanuts, but everybody in Japan, if you go out in public, you have to have a mask nowadays. Whereas before it was if you were sick, you had to have a mask. Yeah. So it's not they haven't had to change much of their daily lives. So they're actually one of the lower countries to do these type of things, and they probably have a higher chance of being able to get back to work and get stuff like this done.
All right.
Especially if
I also think that Nintendo's kind of at a spot where they're like, okay, we all know this is the big game reveal. If they look at their lineup, they probably don't have this, whatever. They don't have anything that's like eye-catching. They have a couple of things like Paper Mario, the last game, Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door, because 1,000-Year Door was actually not that good as a game. I played it. It's a very sleepy RPG. They probably don't have things in their lineup to compete or be up there. So, like, let's just do YouTube releases. We'll still get our money. Let's not put production in things that we don't really have faith in, quotation marks. So they're probably waiting.
So we're gonna do Breath of the Wild 2. We're gonna re-release the Metroid Prime trilogy again.
Yeah, okay, we got a remaster. We got another Zelda game. Zelda, you don't have to. Zelda, okay, that's perfect. Zelda, you don't do work because they're gonna buy it anyway.
And we're gonna bring out the Nintendo Switch XL.
Yeah, bring out and boom, and then watch the money rain and be like, "That's right, we don't need Reggie. We got our own money."
I mean, Nintendo doesn't. I mean, realistically, Nintendo doesn't have to do anything because they've already done everything they need to do. Animal Crossing,
so they're in an okay spot.
They're fine. They don't care.
Well,
that's the thing. They don't compete with Microsoft or PlayStation. They don't care.
And at the moment, they're raining in money because, like, have you tried to get a Switch lately?
Yeah,
you can't find one anywhere.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, you know, Animal Crossing. You know, God, how much did that do?
Plus, you're forgetting Xenoblade Chronicles, the Definitive Edition is coming out very shortly. That game is going to sell crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna sell, but it's not gonna be an Animal Crossing sell.
The thing with Animal Crossing is that, like, NPD, if you look at the recent NPD for April,
oh my God,
it was literally like Animal Crossing, just physical sales alone already made the top 10.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 or 4. Like, it was literally like high enough, just physical sales alone, not even counting probably the thousands to maybe even millions more copies sold digitally compared to physical sales.
Like the second game out of the top 10 best selling of this year, only below Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yeah, that's telling you something.
It's insane. Well, like, they are certainly succeeding. Like, there's no question about that.
Exactly.
And I do want to point out, like, the last thing is that, like, I mean,
Tom Nook, what a salesman.
Yeah, he's a slave driver though. That guy's a bastard slave driver. But he can sell.
That's coming up in a future article. I can tell you that much.
But I think the reality of the situation is that, like, I mean, with the whole coronavirus thing, like, Japan's still in a state of emergency. So even considering whether or not they have the games or you know, the support to get this kind of production up and running, it may just not be feasible. And I mean, it makes sense. You know, they've got to be struggling, at least in that department, you know, in terms of getting something like big and ready for it. I mean, if they just have the, you know, the trailers and everything to back up trying to release something out, and like, they're clearly testing the waters with just throwing out a random reveal of the new Paper Mario RPG on their YouTube channel, on their social media. Like, maybe they're just testing the waters to just, you know, kind of just do releases like that rather than having this big old circumstance production that they can't feasibly create in time, and they'll have to delay until later in the summer.
I can understand that. But it's like, I'd miss the pomp and circumstance from Nintendo, because
I will too.
It's like the one thing, you know, with E3 being gone, you know, it's like, how much are we going to get like that pomp and circumstance versus a guy sitting in his office going, "Here's a trailer."
Job done.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot. That's a lot like what was wrong with the Inside Xbox thing that we saw. You know, I mean, like, there's a lot right about it too. Don't get me wrong, but like, a lot of it was just kind of like, hey, I'm head of this part of this studio. I'm part of this part of Xbox team. We're doing this thing because this thing's good for games, and then it's trailer. Like, you know.
I hope that every company was watching that presentation and realized that they need something better. I know it's hard because you don't have that live crowd there, and the live crowd does make a goddamn difference.
Yeah,
you know, but it really is one of those things of, like, they need to do something more than we're just going to pre-tape a guy introducing himself, then introduce the game, go to trailer.
Yeah,
you know, if that's what we're in store for this upcoming season, or whatever you want to call it, then I might as well wait until it's over and then read all the news afterwards. There's no reason to actually watch anything unless you need to find some way to get that flash, that pizzazz, that presentation of everything into it, rather than, "Hi, my name is Jeff, and I am here with Reggie, and Reggie is going to introduce the new trailer for their game."
Hey, I'm Reggie.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's very much like a double-edged sword, because it's like on one hand they feasibly can't do it because of whatever reasons. I'm stuck at home, I can't get out of here. Like I only have this Zoom webcam that I can use, but at the same time, it makes you wonder
potato webcam.
Yeah, pretty much.
Potato cam,
like literally, Matt Booty was on a potato cam. Yeah, he literally had a green
I
screen
never
set up
understood
behind
that. I never understood that. You guys, you run multi-million-dollar companies,
and that's the other
invest in a
webcam.
webcam.
That's the thing too.
What?
That's the other edge of the sword that I'm thinking about too, is that like, why don't they just kind of set up like a pre-recorded production of this rather than just like, all right, let's start up a Zoom call and I'll have OBS on. Like, it's just they could clearly get something more, or at least
they could do something. They could definitely do something like that, especially because most of these places are in California and stuff like that. It's not like they have to travel interstate in order to do this. They just have to organize a time, come and get the guy to come in and pre-tape it in a pre-done office or something like that. And even that is a better presentation than, half the shit that's out there. Like, okay, not to sort of rag on anything, but look at our presentation right now.
What's wrong with our presentation? What's wrong with it?
No,
I mean, you shitting on our stuff? Is it that bad?
Excuse me.
Keith, shut up. Shut up, old man.
Shovel,
wow.
man.
But like,
time is over, old man.
No, but you can actually tell that there's a little bit of effort into the presentation of the way we do it. We have like the Spectator Mode logo in the middle. We have the individual boxes and everything else. I go to the effort of picking a random fucking green screen thing every week.
Wait, so you're not hanging out the graveyard of WCW?
He lied. See, he totally fucking lied. He lied.
How can you do that? I thought you found the last tapes.
I'm actually at the arse end of like 2001, as you can tell by like the seating here is very very empty. but like even Keith, Keith puts effort into displaying his office the way it is. Simple things like that help a presentation.
I'm old. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just got lucky.
You got to be.
You got lucky. You just bought 5,000 collector's editions.
Hey Google, change office lights to red, please.
Yeah, here
Google has betrayed you.
See, there he is. He's being fancy and shit.
Hey, Google,
home automation, hell yeah.
Hey, Lamp.
But
it doesn't hear.
But it's like, it's simple things like that can make and break a presentation. Whereas I see people who are literally going to a Skype window and going, yeah, this is how we're going to conduct an interview, and it
pretty much, yeah.
It looks trashy.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, like, even with most basic laptop webcams nowadays, if you're using something like Microsoft Teams or Zoom, it has an automatic green screen function where you can just put in a random background, and as long as you're sitting in a certain position on the certain position close to the camera, you can change the background to whatever you like. So even if you're going to do something at home like this, get the guys to use the program. Send them a pre-shot background so it looks like they're in a studio with you or something.
Yeah. Even like for me, it's like, this is a really weird and obscure example, but if you remember, or if you've ever seen on social media or on YouTube, John Krasinski, Jim from The Office, he has his own YouTube channel. He has the whole Some Good News thing that he does. And even that, like the production quality in that is like surprisingly good for something he's doing out of his home. Yeah. And like even that, it at least aesthetics wise looks like there's a ton of more effort being putting into it than just like a developer has their webcam on,
Well, that's it. It's these days with the way technology has gone, and with a little bit of know-how or even just a little bit of piss farting around, you can create a decent looking production for these type of things. But again, it's like a lot of them are just going to sit there and, like you said, they're going to open up a Zoom or something, and they're going to have the guy with the potato cam going, "This is my video game."
I made the game.
I made the game. I do not know how to PR. Yay! Please buy my thing.
Let's move off of this because we've harped on this. I think we've lost
production.
We were going on this completely.
That's important. Production value.
Let's just go into the final topic because we're already an hour and 8 minutes in.
All right.
I can see this. I can see this one taking a long time as well.
Oh, well, you want to talk the final topic? We're all gonna agree. Ultra Instinct Goku is too powerful. He needs a nerf, right?
No, we're not talking about fighting games. We're talking
Oh,
about.
all right, I'm out. Goodbye, guys.
We're talking about fanboys. We're talking about fan persons. We're talking about fangirls. We're talking about, and I'm really sorry if you fall in this category, idiotic people who have really dumb opinions and don't have any reason to act the way they do.
You got to say it's called hot takes now. When you have a stupid opinion, just call it a hot take.
It's not even a hot take.
I know exactly.
I've literally spent the last couple of months being quiet about this, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I've literally been on Twitter. I've been on Twitch. I've been on freaking Mixer and YouTube and Reddit. Everybody seemed to have a very popular or unpopular opinion about XYZ because their console or their brand is the best and another brand is shit because I don't like it. It's shit. Okay, great. Why don't you like it? Because it's shit. That's not an answer. What kind of answer is that? That is that. No, that is the parent's answer. No, you can't have a cookie. Why? Because I said so. Why?
Exactly.
Said so. Why? Because I said so. Versus because it will rot your damn teeth. You haven't eaten your dinner yet. It's time to take your ass to bed. There's an answer.
That takes too long. Back in my day, if my parents said
I don't want McDonald's. I want Burger King.
Exactly. So back in my day, if I asked for a cookie, right, and my parents said no, and I said why, they tell me it's bad for me, and I ask again, I just get beat. So what you would do in that situation? It's shit. Okay, why? You have any bams?
Okay, one we don't
advocate beating children on this program.
Yes. Oh right, God, children.
Only at video games.
Yeah, all right. We're Spectator Mode for the kids, guys. Just like
but seriously,
let's
seriously.
Stick to.
This is just. I know this is just me shouting to an echo chamber, but I'm getting so tired of this. I'm getting tired of the PlayStation is the best console in the world because they have these games. And I'm like, but dude, you talked about a third-party game. It's on every other console. What are you talking about? This console doesn't have any games. What? No. The correct phrase is, this console doesn't have any games that you care about. Okay, that's fantastic. That's great. Move on. Nobody cares.
Keith, that's a good show. I think that's good. I think the problem is languages, particularly for the Sony situations. That
no, it's not language. Hang on, let me finish. And then I'm getting really tired of people who are higher up. Twitter is a great example. Who are higher up on Twitter who are leading these charges, willingly or unwillingly. And it's like you are up there. You have your blue check mark. People look up to you. You've got 20,000 followers, and people take the shit you say as gospel. And then you go on this tangent, pretty much doing the same thing that these fan persons are doing, and you're not helping the situation. If anything, if you're saying you're a neutral party, you're an unbiased party, then you should be telling your followers when they make these dumbass comments, that's not the case, dude. This is what it is, and this is what it is. Instead, I'm seeing a lot of people go the other direction and just they're leading the charge. And I'm going, how do you think that's a good thing to do? Role model or not, that's not cool.
I mean, like I said, the thing is, I would say the language, the psychology is that in this gaming generation, regardless how you feel about it, Sony is the clear and apparent winner, and people always will pick for a winner. And the problem is that they're winning to a point, quotation marks, winning to a point that is common knowledge. Everyone else sucks. Sony's the best. The problem is, though, is that they don't understand it, but that's just enough for them. The same way people bandwagon on sports teams. Like, that's the reason why I hate the Giants are great. The Giants actually suck, okay? I'm from here. No, Eli Manning sucks, okay? He's trash. You just accept it. And I think that's the problem. It's like people don't understand why they're jumping on the wagon because winners are winners. So I could be a winner. The psychology and the language of it, they don't understand. That's the part that makes you upset. Like, to me, I do like Sony. I think Sony's a great console. It clearly is a win consideration. But I have the last 5 years been enjoying my PC and indie games a lot more. So it's like, I have a Sony, it's great, but I do enjoy my indie games, so I don't really care if Sony's number one because I have other things to enjoy.
But Sony is just an example.
Psychology. It's like sports.
Again, to jump in on the psychology standpoint, it's just the way that the generations have become. Everybody deals in absolutes.
Yes.
You know, I like this, therefore you must like this too, or else you are wrong. There is no reason as to why you are wrong.
Black and white.
The fact that you don't like what I like.
Right.
And that's a stupid, terrible way to think in every aspect. it comes down to the same thing. It's not just gaming, it's everything. If you don't like the new the Netflix She-Ra show, then you are a misogynist and this
something.
Carl, you don't like that show?
If you, I'm not a.
No, you don't have to answer this. He's like,
I'm not a fan, but hey, it had ideas.
exactly.
If you're not left wing, you're right wing. If you're not for Sony, then you must be a Microsoft fanboy. If you don't like X, you must be Y.
Exactly. It's the change in there's college that we turn things to black and white. It's not like gray, or better yet, it's like, I like this, but it's not a big deal to me. And it's something psychology, or at least this philosophy I've been studying because I'm bored for all the philosophy of the consumerism. That consumerism has become a new religion, but I can get to hold that. Basically, the summation is that because people has no proper way to learn how to appreciate things, because I put money into it, it has to be the best. It has to be succeed. Yeah. Rather than understanding that
I have to justify my purchase as the best thing ever, else
exactly. I have to. Instead of understanding that just because purchases make it good or better than anything else. And the same thing, a lot of people have so many anchors. Like, you've seen people get upset about Kickstarters, Keith. You've seen like sometimes they do bad delivery, and someone put like $100 in a Kickstarter game and get like crap. They have to justify the consumer.
I feel like you're talking about me in my number 9.
No, I'm not. No. It's an example. I have nothing. I don't know how much you put into it, blah blah blah. But I think that's the problem. It's like the new way of I would say the Western thinker and people in general is we move to a consumerism where that is my religion I spent. Because me and 500 other million people bought a PlayStation, we are the best, and we have won this blah 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 because that's the reason. Not if they don't care about anything else, they're justifying, as Carl pointed out, my purchasing. I justified my thing. Because I put so much worship into it rather than understanding what it's worth. Because what if you bought it and it busted? But to them, it has to be good. It's the only choice I have.
But let's not even talk about that. I mean, we're just talking about
that's the whole philosophy. Yeah, it's consumerism in that sense.
But to me, a lot of it is just like social media is and sites like Reddit are very much like an instigator for this, but a lot of these arguments just lack nuance.
They're
whether it's the person who's saying it or whether it's the person who's reading it or listening to it. Like, so just a lot of the times the stuff just lacks nuance and context.
Yes.
And people just don't want to look for it, But a lot of the times they look to somebody or someone that they admire or that they follow on the internet, and they look to their opinion as law, and they don't care to look into it more because they respect that person more, and then it just turns into if this person doesn't have any kind of nuance to their argument or whatever, then they can just choose to listen to what they want to.
Exactly.
And it just kind of goes from there.
It's not just that. It's social media. Social media and YouTube and everything else has created exactly what we're talking about. What Keith stated at the start of this. It created an echo chamber. People are going to go out and find the things that they enjoy on the internet, and only the things that they enjoy, the things that make them happy. And when you go into something that makes you happy, and you see somebody coming in there with another side of an opinion. Like, if you're a Sony, you're somebody who's played a lot of Sony stuff, you love your Sony stuff, and you're going to somebody who deals exclusively with Sony stuff, and then you see that one trolling Microsoft guy going, PlayStation sucks, Microsoft is better.
Bury him!
Then it's it's literally that. It's shun the non-believer and get the
out like a religion. Exactly.
Well, it's not even the religion of consumerism. It's more so the psychology of me. Again, it comes back to the individual. I am right. My reasoning is right. My opinions are the correct opinion. We have lost the ability to debate. We have lost the ability to critically think about things. We have lost the ability to be middle ground about anything. The world has now become black and white, left and right.
Absolutes.
Everything is done in absolutes. There is no middle grounds anymore. There is no grey area. There is no fence sitting. You can't be a gamer who, like I'd assume most of us sitting here today, I can at least speak for myself and Keith, knowing both of our backgrounds. We both own PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, PC. You're going back generations.
and that's what bothers me. That's exactly what bothers me.
We lived the old days of Sega versus Nintendo, 8-bit versus 16-bit, CDs versus cartridges.
Yeah,
we have lived the old wars, my friend. We have seen the old empires come and go. But the thing is, even then, back then, it was still everything was in absolutes.
Yeah, I want to say
the problem is that social media, in the way that we can curate it, control it, and shape the vision that we see inside of our little blinkers like this, it has created a generation that thinks in nothing but blinders. Whereas you have some of the older generations, like myself and Keith, once again as examples. We've been through this. We actually sat there. We could deliberate the debates back then pretty well. And it would come down to, okay, we could agree to disagree. These days, no, you cannot agree to disagree. You must have an absolute, and it better be my absolute, or you are the wrong person on the wrong side of history, etc., etc.
Blah, blah, blah. But no, my thing about it too is like, yeah, black and white is like, well, I grew up in those eras too, but I feel like back in the day, like Sega versus Nintendo, no one kind of cared as much, I guess, because like,
they did. Did you play Mario or did you play Sonic? Because if you played Sonic, you were wrong, because Mario was the best.
I played both, actually, because I was poverty.
And if you don't
that was the argument. That was the argument.
Yeah. I remember hearing that.
To me, I think it's like, to me, it just seems like an inevitability with how big games become. And it's just only gonna get bigger with the amount of people who play games, just because like there's less of a chance for the expert to speak or whatever, and there's more of a chance for the vocal minority to become the vocal majority, and a lot of these people will just kind of join with one another, and if they feel like their opinions align, then they'll shout the same thing over and over again, and that's kind of what it turns into. And I think it's always kind of been that way. It'll probably always be that way. I think it's just up to the people to kind of choose whether or not they choose to understand the context or not. And if they want to align themselves with Sony and decide that the PlayStation is the best, then power to them to do that. And if they don't want to learn more, then they don't have to.
I think that's the point of ignorance is bliss. But yeah, you beat me to the answer to that. But it's like a perfect example is like the last handheld console. Keith and I are probably does anyone else besides Keith and I own a Vita?
What's that?
I
had a PSP.
I traded in my Vita a long time ago.
Yeah,
this thing right here. This thing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. This beautiful little boy. Yeah.
Hey, Keith, how much?
Did your Switch go through the laundry?
It is a lot. Well, I will say I have a lot of. It's not the Vita's fault. It actually was playing Persona on it. It wasn't that. It's the fact that this room carries a lot of dust.
Ooh,
I can clean up this room, and tomorrow it'll be dusty again.
That's not a good feeling, my man. But it's just like, but understand, like to me, the Vita was one of my favorite handhelds. I own 3DS too. We've got one, but it's like I understand why the console failed, whatever. But my little brother at the time, because he was like 12, 13, your Vita sucks, you lose. It's like, dude, it's not because of that. It's fine, but it's many things. You don't understand it. My brother's like he's in college now. He understands. Oh, the Vita lost because of marketing, and he really couldn't push unit sales. Now he understands. But it's like the time for people to understand it's not going to happen as quickly as you would. Like I wish more people would. Like I get it. Sony clearly won this console war. It is what it is. That's it. Fine.
But that's my thing. That's my thing.
That's the thing. They haven't won shit.
I mean,
I'm sorry. There is no...
the mental, like I said, the psychology will believe it because so many people have it.
Yeah, that's the psychology. That's the psychology of the psychology of me and my absolutes. There is no winner of the console wars since it became, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. And, Sega until they died. But there has been no winner. The winner has been, if you want to call a winner in all of this, it's us as gamers. More variety means more games, and that's what we're right focusing on.
That right there, that's what really upsets me, because people do not understand this. Yes, Sony is the market share winner. Congratulations, that's great. But it's the innovation. It's the fact that they're pushing other people.
Go back one generation. Microsoft was the fucking winner.
Oh.
Right.
I'm sure if you look at console sales right now, you're probably going, "Hey, Nintendo's a winner."
Yeah.
There is no clear-cut winner. Winning has been us, the gamers, for variety. If you want to call any of these little pedantic, stupid little gaming wars that we've had over the years as a winner, Nintendo beat Sega. That's the only one that's ended.
Yeah.
That's the only one that's ended, and that was the one that we were having when Keith and I were like, 10 to 11 years old.
Yeah. And it
didn't make a difference then. It was like, okay, congratulations, that's great. We're still getting games.
Because Sega, we still got games because Sega's out of the running. Oh, look, here comes Microsoft and Sony to start it all up again, and it's like, wow, all of a sudden we have all these games that we can start playing.
Right.
And this wasn't just to complain about the fanboys. This was me just getting agitated that the fact that people don't understand that this is about gaming. The whole thing is about gaming. It's not about Microsoft being the number one XYZ whoever. It's not about PlayStation being the number one console or Nintendo. It's that these are games.
And don't get it twisted. Don't think PC isn't left out of this conversation.
Oh my God! Don't bring that up because that was I had a debate with somebody.
The AMD versus Nvidia debate.
Somebody came out
Intel versus AMD and this.
I'm not going to say who it was, and there was a similar conversation on Twitter, but I'm not talking about that one. There was one I had on Reddit, and somebody was like, "The PlayStation 4 is the number one gaming platform," and I was like, "No, it is not." And then he started arguing with me, and I was like, "You want to start? It's fucking mobile phones.
Yep.
PC.
Yep.
Then your PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no! Oh, here's the figure. Shut the hell up."
Here's the facts.
And like I said, like the psychology, because the thing is that I say a lot of people want the winner. I want to be on the bandwagon to win because I'm a winner too. It's like I said, that weird psychology of the consumer. So it's like, to me, my thing is that does Sony have the market share? Yeah, they do. That's cool. But after a while, you just don't care anymore. It's like I have other things to do, and that's the weird part. Like they put so much focus on this rather than, like you said, there's more diversity of games. You have indie development now. I can play games on my platform. I have Phantasy Star 2 coming out. Thanks, Microsoft. You finally did some good work for me once in your life. You gave me Phantasy Star 2 online. So boom, I'm happy. So let's wrap it up.
Keith, please continue.
Yeah.
I really don't know what else to say other than the fact that we as gamers, as individuals who play games, need to realize that this whole nonsense of this console or this maker or this manufacturer or this development studio or whoever is the best of the best of the best. Because as somebody said to me, and I'm pretty sure you've all heard it, there's always somebody out there bigger than you who's ready to take your shit. And we've always had it where it's Microsoft and Sony going back and forth with each other, with Nintendo in the background going, yeah, that's cool, but we're still making our money. We don't care about your silly console war. And I think they have the right mentality because they literally do not care. They may not have the best system out there. They definitely don't have the most powerful system out there. The online system sucks, but you know what? People are still buying Nintendo shit. It's the same thing with the PC. Hey, you guys may complain that PC gaming is expensive and that it's not very friendly, even though it has been friendly for years now. But PC gaming has died and been reborn so many times. You might as well call it PC gaming the Phoenix.
Yeah, and the thing is that, and that's the thing too. It's like, as Carl pointed out, I agree with him. Gamers go into diversity of games. I do not want to live in a world, and as much as I like Sony and their products and the companies they own, I do not want to live in a world where Sony is the number one de facto gaming guy. That's a scary world to live in. That's scary to have one company own the entire industry, and my fellow Aussie and I know we live that way in wrestling, at least in the Western world, for a long time. That's a scary world to live in.
That's just it. One company having a monopoly over the industry is not something that you want to see.
No.
As Matt just pointed out, as wrestling fans, we used to sit through the Monday Night Wars, WCW versus WWE. When WCW went out of business, WWE was the only game in town. then they could get away with whatever they wanted because they were the only game in town, and that didn't have any other choice.
Nope.
Now we have another contender coming up in AEW, and suddenly fans are starting to pique interest again. If you were to have something like that, where Microsoft and Nintendo said, we're done, we're not going to produce games anymore, we're going to let it all go to Sony. That's a scary
world to live in, yeah.
At. Because then that means that control is 100% Sony, and that means that they can put out 10 ton of shovelware, and you've got no choice.
Exactly. They would have little reason to
a world without
nothing.
Yeah, a world without competition is a very boring world to live in. And I don't care whether you're a Sony fanboy or a Microsoft fanboy or a PC golden god or a Nintendo Switch lover, or if you're sitting there playing Candy Crush on your goddamn mobile.
You totally missed the opportunity to say Golden Lord from me.
Golden. I have been blessed by my mega.
Gaben be praised, but but like seriously, I don't care whether you're playing games from a mobile phone to a $4,000 friggin' mega rig PC or any console in between. And I've said this 1,000 times already, the only people that are a winner in this conversation are gamers. Gamers will play anything. They don't give a shit what it's on. They don't give a shit if it's PC, Xbox, Nintendo, whatever. If you're finding a game you're enjoying, you're a winner. You've won the war, because that variety is choice. That variety is a spice of life. It is what makes sure that you, as a gamer, are invested in the industry. It's not your alliance to a brand. It's your alliance to the hobby. Yeah. And if you can't see that, then maybe you need to put down the controller, walk away from the keyboard, click close on the phone, and go do something else. Because if you're going to sit there going loyalty to a brand is bigger than the hobby itself,
you
sir or madam are a fucking idiot.
I agree with that 110%, because it's just disgusting because they don't get that. It's like, yes, you can like something. I totally get it. Like, I like Sony. They've done good by me. They gave me all my JRPG fixes. I love PC because all my indie fixes on there. I've been happy a lot lately that a lot more indie games hitting consoles, but I still play my indies. But again, in a horrible world we should never live in. One guy owns everything. We're all doomed. We're all doomed. I'm telling you, they own the entire mode of production. We're doomed. I don't care if it's Microsoft, Gabe Newell, Sony, or even Mr. Nintendo's little bike running down the street. I'm not living in that world. That's a horrible game you're going to live in.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of there. I'm pretty sure
this has been a very, very cathartic episode where we're
gonna get a lot of heat for this.
We got a lot of our gripes out for the first time in a while.
Well,
wait, I didn't get my gripes out. I hate Street Fighter 5. No, I'm going on that later.
No, you said every podcast, dude. You said
that's a whole podcast.
That's a whole podcast.
We've also talked about that a lot.
No, but I've actually stopped hating it less because I accepted it. Super Turbo is still a great game. I'm missing. It's Ultra Instinct Goku makes me cry. That's all I can say. Oh my god, what is he? The damage.
There's nothing you can do about it. Just let it go.
Oh no. It's cool, but it's like, did I just die from a crouching light? You're like, that's all you feel.
Just don't play Dragon Ball Fighters, Matt. Just to save your soul.
Let it go.
There you go.
No, it's a good game. I enjoy it. Like I said, no, I enjoy it. It's just like, did I just die from a crouching light for Ultra Instinct Goku? They just always see tears in your eye. I've seen the light.
Anyway, thank you for following us on another episode of Spectator Mode Podcast. Seriously though, but if you guys want to come on the podcast, talk gaming, we would love to have people on the show. Big or small, we don't care. We want to talk with people about gaming and everything what's the word I'm looking for? Everything that's made of gaming, everything that's about gaming, we want to talk about.
If you've got something like we did tonight, where we were bitching about fanboys, if you got something you want to get off your chest about the gaming industry, please let us know, and we'll organize for you to come on the show to voice your opinion. You want to be a part of these debates and part of these chats, then let us know, and we'll bring you on. We are here. We want to interact with the fan base. We want to interact with those that come and support us, and we want to hear your voice, because it's, as much as we love hearing our own voices every week, it's not just us that is here for gaming. We are here, hopefully, being an advocate for your voice, but we want to hear from you directly.
And you could totally be somebody who doesn't agree with us and come on the show.
Yeah.
That's great. Debates are fine.
Yeah, you want to bitch one of us out on the thing. If you like Street Fighter 5 and you want to have a go at Matt, please, by all means.
You would lose that bet 100. I'm not even joking. You would lose that argument.
I won't even say a word. I'll just be in the back, got popcorn.
Point out actual frame data. About the only thing that describes the difference between Street Fighter 5 is 3-frame characters and 4-frame characters.
Calm down.
See, look, he's
that's not an argument.
The argument's already done. He doesn't even have anyone to argue with. We all agree with you.
It's like, no. Oh, boy. That's not an argument. That's a fact of life. They don't dispute it. Oh, God, man, I'm cold.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, again.
But also that being said, if you want to come on, please, by all means. Otherwise, Keith's about to go through all the places where you can find this thing, but also be aware that Keith and myself also stream on the good old Twitch platform. Yeah, you stream.
Fuck.
You
3 days a week.
You stream used to be an older platform.
Yeah.
Anybody remembers that one? So we got Keith over there at twitch.tv/Shadow
throwing dogs.
Yep.
I would never throw my dog. Even though he's dumb as fuck. I love that dumb
dog. Stupid dog.
And also myself over at Twitch TV/The Mace Thing 2. We both have been streaming Remnant from the Ashes, along with Matt having his voice there and ordering Chinese food from Mexican places.
I'm poor. Okay? I'm poor. What am I supposed to do?
Don't live in New York. That's the fucking one.
Yeah, that's one.
But
that.
But we got streams going. Keith and I are now starting to work out our own personal schedules of when and what we're streaming. So please go over to our pages, have drop a like on both of them, give them a follow, have a look at our streaming schedules, see what else you want to come on and have a look at. Otherwise, you can always come back next week for another episode of Spectator Mode. And where can they find these episodes of Spectator Mode, Keith?
In my wallet. Audioboom.com. Just look for the Outerhaven or Spectator Mode. You can also check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, whatever the hell it is anymore. I don't know. We're also on Plex Podcasts, so find us over there as well. And wherever other good gaming podcasts are, likely we'll find Spectator Mode.
And otherwise, you can always go and hear most of our opinions, thoughts, reviews, and everything else over at theouterhaven.net.
Fantastic. That sounds like a good spiel.
We like guests. We want guests. We want more guests. Part of the 2020 initiative was to have more guests in the industry come over. Yes. We didn't really do that.
Yes,
but...
while everybody is trapped in your houses and you all have webcams and know how to use like Zoom or something like that, or even Discord. We have a Discord. We have a Discord as well. People are welcome to join it and talk with us directly. Otherwise, you can get in touch with us on Discord, and we will give you the information to come onto the show. We have ways. We know people.
We have learned the internet.
We also have portals.
Wait, what?
Portals. Wish I had a portal.
Potholes.
Potholes.
Oh. Things in the ground. No,
things in the ground. Yeah.
Potholes. Yeah.
We got a lot of those. They need to fix those damn things.
Yeah, boy.
But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another episode of Spectator Mode. This is about the point where we're all going to get the fuck out of here because I want lunch, and we also want to play some video games. So, whatever you're playing, make sure you have fun playing it. Doesn't matter what brand you're representing, as long as you're having fun. That's what gaming's all about. See you later, people.
Fuck fanboy toxicity. Go away.
No.